Hey everybody, all right, it's your boy Jeff. I'm by my lonesome. It's Enter Tournament of Champions podcast. I'm just doing a special intro because I had to break this episode up because we talked for so goddamn long about our mid-year top fives for 2019. So this conversation is all about our top 5 favorite video games so far for 2019. We recorded this before, like the very, very beginning of July. So we hadn't touched Marvel Ultimate Alliance or whatever the hell else came out since then. So yeah, this is our discussion, and take it away, boys from the past.
All right, let's do that video game.
Yeah, we're gonna do video games. Video games. Top 5 video games for 2019.
Yeah, I mean, I should.
JD, how many do you have? So we can just come back to you.
I legitimately have 3 that I've actually played from this year, but I mean, I've got some creative filler.
What's your creative filler?
Yeah, what's your fake number 5?
Because as Kyle reminded me, he's like, hey, you used to play Resident Evil 2? And I was like, yeah, like only all day, every day when I was like 12.
Imagine it looking like a game that came out this year.
So, I mean, it's just a slicker version of that game, so I've already played it. So that's my number 5, man. I mean,
I love it. Oh,
best
wow.
game.
That's also my number 5, but like...
No way!
That's my number 4, but let's just go ahead and talk about it.
Okay.
Doing good.
Oh shit, JD.
Wow.
The rest of my games are not on y'all's list, probably.
All right, let's that's a fucking good game, dude.
Yeah.
It's a great
it's
game.
Like so quality. Like, and Capcom's like been dead for a long time. So it's like, why y'all are
how can they make games if they're
dead? Dad, come out.
Yeah.
You make like a series of really good games like over the last few years, like with Monster Hunter and Resident Evil 7, and now this. It's just like, man, like they're back, baby. You know, I'm pretty excited about getting spooked out on this game more. You know, I want to play through it with Claire. My Leon playthrough was a little rough because the game it's hard. You know, like it's a survival horror game. You know.
Yeah. I suck at it, but
I thought it down easy. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I don't really care about that.
I suck really bad at like these.
But you are dead on about it being terrifying as shit. Lots of audible gasps.
A lot of screaming
playing
from
this.
Yeah, like in my room, people checking on me. You all right, man? Yeah, dude, this game's scary. Just stop checking on me.
Just stop checking. Just accept that sometimes I'll
just
scream.
Know that this game is creeping me out. All right, and I'm not having a good time in here.
And it's funny. Layers of Fear released a sequel this year too, and it's kind of the same thing from them with a lot of jump scares. But that's more or less all the game. You know, this is like Layers of Fear scares, which I'm sure Resident Evil obviously revolutionized, but with Resident Evil gameplay, you know, like traditional Resident Evil gameplay.
I mean, I'll
which I've never been exposed to before.
I'll run back through really areas in this game, like where I thought I cleared out things, and like all of a sudden it's not only are there things back, but there's like 10 times more than there were before, and I'm just like, what the fuck? It's so stressful. So once that happens, then now it's never safe ever. The rest of the game is never safe because that happens pretty early, where you're like, what the fuck? How did this happen?
Yeah.
The game is insane, man. Like asserted itself as like king, you know, like spooky game. I would say.
I'd agree with that.
I mean, it's really something else, man. Like, and I there was a good jump scare in the first like 10 seconds of that game in the gas station. I was like, whoa, all right, here we are. This is the game we're playing. Cool. Woo, all right. Yeah, I'm gonna play this in 1 hour chunks for sure.
Yes. That's the best way to play that game.
Can't do more than that. Yeah. There was one time where I finally got into the sewer, and I remember what happens in the sewer, and everyone knows. I'm not going to say it. It's not really a spoiler. But you're walking down there, and a giant alligator like goes by, and I go, "Cool, that's a safe point right there, man. That's good. This is a good spot to stop for the night. You know, I'm not fucking dealing with that at all. You know, or this whole sewer. Like, oh, it's awful up there. What do we do? Let's go to someplace scarier. Okay, like." Yeah, that game really knows how to like just tug at your nerves, man. And I played too, like JD. I played it many, many times growing up, you know. Mm-hmm. So like I know what to expect, but like now that everything looks so good, it's just like it's extra.
Yeah, that's the thing. It looks extra realistic.
Sound design's so good too, like,
dude. Yes.
Oh
yeah.
man.
This is going to be winning, or it should win a few technical awards, I would imagine.
It better. Yeah.
Better at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely better.
So that's JD's number 5 and my number 5. Kyle, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is Days Gone.
Oh, push.
Oh, we're pushing. Okay.
I don't have a choice.
I don't have it queued up, so whatever.
Fucking freakers. God.
So JD, what's your fake number 4 then?
It's definitely a game that I put so much time in. It's called Anthem. You might have heard of it.
You really play that game?
That at all.
I played it a little bit at Andrews. I played like 2 hours.
Oh,
You put that over Resident Evil?
I did it in order of time played. That's my list. So because I haven't literally have not played Resident Evil 2.
I'm not gonna sit here and pick apart your list, man. I'm sorry.
And then I played a little bit of Anthem, and then I played a little bit of the games above it. But it's in.
I'm gonna back you up on Anthem being fun.
It was fun.
It's fun. Yeah.
I definitely I kind of followed a lot of the community's reaction to it and some of the issues that they had with the game, like the starter gun doing more damage under a certain build than like an exotic that you find down the road. That was fucking weird.
It's a little messed up.
So yeah, there were some issues with it.
They added cataclysms and it broke everything, so they took it away. It's like cool. So that was the whole point of the game.
I did not know that. That is funny as shit.
Yeah, and it just seems like
whoa, we can't do that. That's not ready. It's like, well, that's what we're all waiting. God damn it!
That's what I was waiting on to come back to.
Yeah, you're supposed to like go in and like these things are destroying the world and altering it like indefinitely. So like after it's done, like this cataclysm, like the world has changed forever on every server forever. Like it's pretty cool, but whatever.
Yeah.
It's cool, man. I like the controls a lot. It feels good, and they're really doubling down on it. They're like, we think we have something here, and we're not giving up, and we're gonna keep on working on this. And everyone's just like, we don't care. But like they're really trying, and good on them. I beat the game, I got all the way to the end game, and I think like 2 world tiers. I think I was on like the 2nd world tier or something. I forget. It was fun. I liked it a lot, but it's very problematic and a lot of loading and.
Oh my god, the loading.
Yeah, it's that part was pretty problematic.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a bad launch of a game like that, it takes a lot.
Really hard
to recover.
Games do it though. Like Final Fantasy 14 came out and it was a mess. It was stripped off of all the servers were shut down. It was taken off of store shelves. Came back out 2 or 3 years later, and now it's bigger than WoW.
Wow.
So now it's the biggest MMORPG ever to exist, period. Like it's insane. So like these stories happen all the time where games turn themselves around. No one gave a shit about Fortnite until they put Battle Royale in it. When it came out, it was a wave-based co-op shooter.
Oh, yeah.
And then they stole...
Yeah, that's when you were playing it, right?
And I was like, this is a lot of fun, yeah. It was fun. You build bases and, like, survive, like, fucking onslaughts of dude guys. Like, it's a lot of fun. And then, like, Battle Royale came out, and then people cared. It was just, like, games, like, they change their identities all the time. So, like, maybe they could do something like that. I doubt it, but, like, maybe.
Yeah. What a shame. I think I have this somewhere lower in my rankings, like, below 10 somewhere. Unfortunately,
that's probably.
But I did have fun with it. Placement. After I beat it, though, I was just kind of like, I think I'm done with the loop on this one. Even though there is endgame stuff, I just never touched it. Oops, sorry, America.
Are you?
Not really. So my number 4 is Outer Wilds. Somebody say push. Just kidding. No,
I didn't play it. Yeah, I want to though. I do. People have really sold me on this game.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So you do know what it is, like, functionally. Like,
I heard it's coming on Switch, and that's kind of what I'm waiting for. So
that sounds actually really fucking cool.
Yeah.
So you're in, like, this small... It's an indie game, so it's not... Don't expect, like, something too massive, but you're in, like, this small solar system of, like, 5 or 6 planets. And you start at one place, and you have to, like, generally learn the mechanics of flying, first off, which is kind of difficult in this game. Apparently, some people that rate Captive State very highly found it very strange and tough to fly around.
Is this a specific demographic or like why? That's just very specific. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I know it's very specific. It's if they put an American flag in the game, I'm sure
that's all it needs.
Fine, but
oh my god,
all it needs.
All right.
Sorry.
You said this game was. You're talking about Outer Wilds.
Outer Wilds, yeah, and not to be confused with the Outer Worlds that's coming.
Yeah,
in October,
I thought that's what you said at first, and I'm like, that's fucking out. And
no, this is.
Then you said it was an indie game.
This is a cucky indie game. Yeah,
I'm looking at it now. On Steam.
Highly rated on reviews, or most reviews at least, And yeah, it is kind of like a do what you want at your own pace type thing. There's not a lot of hand holding in it. They do the flying mechanics, which I mentioned are somewhat difficult. There's like a training mechanism to help you learn how to fly before you actually fly off of the planet you start on and go to another one. So I just recommend spending time with that before you go, okay, I'm good for a ship. You know, like just don't jump on a ship.
I'm fucking.
But it's really cool because like, yeah, fuck it, fuck it. Why not? If I die, I die.
He dies. He dies.
There's some really cool shit in here where like you'll stumble upon something that seems cool and alien-like, and then it'll update your ship log and tell you. Your ship log is pretty much where everything resides. That tells you where you probably should go. Like it tells you quote unquote rumors that you've heard that you should go somewhere else and check out. And anytime you find out a new piece of information, it's added to your rumors list, and you can just go find, go new places and find different shit. It's just a game about discovery, more or less. I think there's some style to the game. It's you can definitely get a sense that it's an indie game in terms of the artistic style, but there's not. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's like as stylistic as another game I'm going to mention. Void Bastards. It's not like that because that's straight up like a comic book game. Literally, like you're in a comic book and you're playing the game. It's crazy. But yeah, this one really cool. I love the nature of exploration that the game takes you on and shit and piss. Oh, also there's a gun that you use, but it's not like a shooter gun. It's like a radar gun or whatever, and you aim it at other planets or whatever, or meteors, whatever the fuck. And if you pick up a signal, you're like, oh, there's life there, and that's how you know where to fly.
Oh, so it's like a big, giant directional microphone.
Yeah, pretty much,
cool.
yeah.
I think
and that's the thing. Other things or
are there like waypoints, or are you kind of just piecing it together?
There's waypoint. There's a map on your ship. And by the way, if you fuck up your landing, which I did the first time, because I just like pretty much skyrocketed to the ground, like, which is I know that's like. Polar opposite, whatever. But you know what I mean. Like I hit like thruster all the way down, and I just crashed to the ground, and it fucked up my ship. You have to repair it if that happens. Anyway, yes. So you can like pull up a map of the solar system and be like, okay, cool. I'm gonna go over here, and it kind of measures. It tells you how many feet away you are and stuff. But you kind of have to really. The planets aren't super large at all. It's kind of like comically small. So if you land somewhere, you can just travel wherever you want on foot and get back to your ship.
Oh, okay. So it's not like No Man's Sky where you're like, oh, I'm landing on the wrong side of the planet. I guess I better give myself a day to get to the other.
Nah, it's not even close. Yeah, it's not even close to that in size. So it's much smaller. I think there is a gameplay loop. For some reason, I haven't encountered it, even though I played like an hour of it. But there's supposedly you die every 20 minutes and have to start over. I've read somebody explain that to me once, and I haven't had it happen.
That hasn't happened? Yeah, that's what I've heard. I thought that was the big thing.
I thought that was the big thing, too. I'm very confused.
Okay.
Maybe they just suck at the game, because you can just die and start over. I don't
Okay, yeah.
I don't know.
That's interesting. Okay.
But I think my understanding is if that does happen, maybe I just didn't play it long enough. I thought I played it for a long time, though. My understanding is that you still retain the knowledge that you gained from your first playthrough, if that does happen. Whatever.
Oh, interesting. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, so like your ship log is not going to just suddenly be removed of information, for example. Yeah, I think it's cool. It's tough to figure shit out when you get on a different planet and then it has like a totally different technology on it that you have to like figure out a puzzle, and you're like, well, what the fuck? How do I do this? And I still there's one I just didn't even figure out. I just left and went to another planet. I was like, fuck it, I'm just going somewhere else. But it's cool though, sense of exploration. I like that. Whatever. It's just a ballsy game. I like it. I like balls on games. And that's my number 4.
Balls on games, yeah.
Balls on
Good
games.
stuff.
Kyle, what's your number 4?
So my number 4 is Resident Evil, which we already talked about. So
That's right. Number 4.
Yeah, we can just.
JD, what's your number 3 that you totally played?
I did play this one. I've been playing it a lot for the last 2 days. My friend Pedro.
Oh, the game is so good.
So good.
Yeah, it's so good. I'm so bad at it, but it's so good.
So I'm curious.
so derpy on the Switch. I don't know if
I've
it's
yet
better
to get
on PC.
A, but I get mostly B's and quite a handful of C's.
Yeah,
B's, yeah. B's,
I've gotten mostly C's. I've gotten 2 B's so far.
Beautiful.
So I got to ask, on the Switch, is it all controller based, or are there touch elements to it on the?
No touch elements. There's not a lot of touch elements on the Switch in general.
So I mean, just like, I'm just kind of trying to wrap my head around it because I've gotten used to the mouse keyboard. How does the split shooting mechanic work? Like, how do you designate your split target?
It says you hold down one of the shoulder buttons and aim, but I'm pretty spastic when I'm shooting, so
Okay.
Same here.
everyone just ends up getting shot.
That's cool. All right.
Yeah, but there is a way to split shoot. Like when you hold down the button. Like
it's actually pretty easy on mouse keyboard. You right click wherever you want the green, the split hold to be, and then you just aim normally after that for the.
Yeah.
For the other.
That's what happens here. Like the one that you were shooting before, it stays where it was shooting, and then you move the other one. Yeah. You just have to hold down one of the shoulder buttons.
Yeah.
I think it's R1. The equivalent to R1.
Cool.
Yeah. The controls are really good. I mean, it feels like the game feels really. There's one mission you get a propeller hat, and like you're floating and shooting, and like you're having to like navigate like not only like the shooting, but like environmental puzzles. It's fucking cool, man. Like it goes to some really wacky places. I feel like I'm getting towards the end of it. I've been playing it quite a bit. So
it's only like 5 or 6 hours. I think.
Probably only like 6 hours. Yeah, 4 to 6 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, the ones I did today with the basketball, that one was fun, and then I got to the hook level where you're utilizing a lot of the hooks and the ropes and stuff, and that was a shit ton of fun too. I like that. I like how the game just kind of slowly eases you into the mechanics, and I don't even feel bad. Like I genuinely see scenarios where I'm like, I kind of want double pistols here instead of double Uzis, because the Uzis are a little bit harder to control for me. Like I can kind of just spraying and praying with those. Anyway, it's fun. It's a blast.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a good Switch title. I'm glad they got that one for a console. The Switch.
Yeah.
Pretty much exclusive for a console. Like I know PC's got it too, but like
I mean, there's no other
PS4 or anything. Like yeah.
I would have probably gotten it on PS4 if it were available, but I mean, it's not going to break my computer. So even though
it's not a demanding.
Yeah, no.
Not at all. No problems buying it on Steam. And for
gotta love the shit that Devolver's putting out this year, because they did I think they did Observation too, and I'm going to talk about that one.
Oh,
I think they did. I think they published it at least. I'm trying to remember. I know they put out another game that I was like, holy shit, that's Devolver. And Ape Out. They did that one. I think they just published that one. That one's where you're an ape that breaks out of a cage and you just fucking waste people. You just waste people that are in your way.
That's pretty rad.
And the art style is really cool. It's like shadow art, like you don't really see anybody. It's top-down shadow art, and like there's like an orange back. Like it's really really hard to describe, but it's very much awesome. Solid. It's very much solid colors, top-down shadow. You're just following your shadows.
I want to beat up things as an ape. That sounds awesome.
It's still bloody as shit, but it's definitely tough too. Like because I think. It's kind of like reminds me of like Hotline Miami or something like that, where like as soon as you get shot, you're like fucking dead. So like it's like one shot, and you're like, oh shit, I guess I got to start over. That kind of sucks.
Okay, yeah. So like Katana, like the
so you
Katana game that came out earlier this
exactly.
year.
Yeah, where you're like, oh shit,
Katana Zero.
Gotta find another way. Yeah, you got to find another way to beat that level. It's kind of like that. So it is difficult, but it's like so silly and outrageous that it's just a lot of fun. That one's up there, like it's in terms of like a Devolver, like just being like a fun, nutty game. Pedro does it better though, but you know what I mean. Like it's just who comes up with that shit. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
That's crazy. So my number 3, I name dropped it. It's Void Bastards. This is it's kind of a nutty little game too. Like you guys can look up screenshots of it, and that's 100% real gameplay. I assure you.
Void Bastards?
Void Bastards, yeah, VOID.
It just seems like a made-up.
I'm not allowed to
seems
say
like a made-up title.
like that, so.
Oh, you can't type it. Void.
Yeah, no, the parental controls on my phone is blocking that.
Oh, gotcha.
What?
So it's like the cut. It's like the cutscenes show you comic strips and stuff like that, And you're like, oh, that's cool. And then when you get inserted into the game, you're still in a fucking comic strip. It's really cool. I don't know how they did it.
Oh wow! This is
very,
really
very
cool.
impressive. Yeah. So the style is already a plus, but I think the gameplay stuff pushed it over. This was like number 2 for a long time for me.
It's really cool. I don't know if I've even heard of this one.
This is by the way, randomly got it on Game Pass on Xbox.
Wow.
Just throwing that out there. I couldn't believe it. Like I was like, oh, what's this? And then I looked up reviews for it, and I was like, holy shit, great reviews. And it's just not a lot of people have been playing it, and I think it's only on Xbox. I don't think it's on PS4, unfortunately. But I think that's why they managed to secure it on the Game Pass. I think it is a Microsoft exclusive. It might be a PC game, too.
I see it on Steam. I'm looking at it now.
Yeah, so I guess that's how they got it then. But I remember not paying a dime for it. I got it on Game Pass.
It's like $25 on Steam.
Oh, that's a great price for it. That's a steal. It's badass, dude. It is a shooter, for first-person shooter. The whole story is that you play a prisoner that is from this place. I think it's called the Ark. You play a prisoner. This place called the Ark houses many prisoners, and you play a prisoner that goes around, boards many like ships, like abandoned ships, and just takes parts and harvests parts and builds things from them and stuff like that. And these people that might have been left over on the ships have like turned into something else entirely. They've turned into like monsters or whatever. But don't get me wrong, the monsters / people hybrids that they are, they're like comical. They're like, they don't look like threatening. They look fucking stupid.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not spooky at all. It's like meant to be like kind of like funny. Another funny aspect of it is your dude can die. Your dude can straight up die, and it happens in the first level that you're on. Your dude dies, and the game goes, "Don't worry, you were supposed to die."
That's fun.
And then and anytime you die, another prisoner gets plugged into your place because that's the expendable whatever character, I guess. Your prisoners are deemed expendable, so you can just go out and just die or whatever and get replaced. Okay. And each prisoner has like its own perk or fault. Like the second person I got stuck
very
with
roguelike. That's like the term. Yeah.
Is it? Interesting. Because I never gravitate towards roguelike.
Well, that's what you're describing right now. Yeah, whenever you die and then like you like a new like hero kind of emerges, but there's there's a flaw and Yeah,
the second guy I got has a smoker's cough, and that gets people to know that you're there. And which is funny because occasionally like a screen will shake and you'll hear, and then like a bad guy comes around the corner and I'm like, motherfucker. It's so interesting. But there is on each ship, there's like most ships, there's depends on how big the vessel is, but like there's like a power chart or like a DNA changer thing where like you can go up to it and be like, okay, if you spend X amount of coins, you can get rid of your smoker's cough, and X amount of coins you can get this one perk that tells you where all the bad guys are on the map. And that applies to, I think it might just be your one guy. But it is a game of resources, too. Like, you have to keep track of the fuel that you have. That's the main reason that you grade ships, is to get fuel and to get food. Because each time if you rest, you gain health. That's how you regain health. But rest costs you food. So if you choose to rest a day and not travel, that costs you food. But it also gains you health. Also, flying to another place gets you health too, but it costs fuel. So you like have to think of things before you just board a place. Like you can choose to. There is an objective on the map that I saw. I haven't gotten there yet because I've done like 4 or 5 ships. And there's an objective, and you can just fly straight there and not board any ships because the game tells you, hey, you don't have to board every ship. But because there is a risk involved, you could just die. If you like your guy, you can die.
Right.
It's interesting, man. It's just super fascinating concept. It way more involved than I expected it to be for like just kind of like just some random low budget indie game that I stumbled upon. It's a high recommend for me. So that's my number 3.
That's sweet.
I think you guys would really dig it.
I'm gonna check that out.
Pretty rad. So JD already went. Kyle, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Judgment.
Oh, that's my number 2.
Oh wow,
cool.
Wow! Yeah. Look at you trying to out. Me.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like
Boy.
Japanese stuff more than you. That's what.
Yeah,
that's what you're trying to
that's
say.
exactly what I was saying in lesser words. Yeah, we can talk about that later then.
Oh, if you want to hold off, that's fine.
Okay. Push it real good.
Yeah, fuck it. We'll push it a little bit. JD, what's your number 2?
I ended up putting Days Gone in number 2.
Oh, that's the push from Kyle.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Yeah, it's it's a good game. I got it at launch, which I really guess I shouldn't have because I didn't start playing it for like a month after. And then on my vacation, I was pretty much like addicted to Spider-Man when I got the urge to game, just playing that shit from last year.
That game is super tough to put down.
It's very difficult to put down, and it's also kind of like Red Dead, and it's very difficult to get me to focus on an objective because I'm like, ooh, crime, ooh, crime, ooh,
yeah,
crime,
you're like, ooh, crime, ooh, I have objectives, like there's so many side missions that I just beat those first.
Yeah, and then 3 hours go by and you realize you've made no progression with the story whatsoever. So that's been my experience with that game, and I felt like Days Gone was just very heavy, and I just wasn't really in the mood for that type of story. So I've been kind of playing it in like 1 hour chunks, but I will get into it now.
He's always talking to his dead wife.
He's talking to everybody, including himself. Like, it's just like, that's those freakers over there. And like 10 seconds later, I'm going to get those fucking freakers.
These freakers.
Hey,
he does talk a lot. Holy shit.
There's a car over there. Yeah. Oh, fuck. I wonder how Boozer's doing. Hey, Boozer, how you doing?
Boozer,
hey, I'm doing good.
They all kill me.
Boozer,
oh, my God.
Are you doing all right, Boozer?
Some article I read pointed out that Deacon talks to himself a lot, and so I've gone into it like noticing it. Yeah. And God, I can't. That guy talks to himself so much. It's insane. It doesn't ruin it for me. It's all funny,
Right.
But yeah, I fully support backwards hat wearing protagonists. He is my hero, and I'm getting further in the story, so I will finish that one up here pretty soon, hopefully.
The hordes are really awesome in this game. It's really something cool. Like you'll wander into the wrong place at the wrong time, and things will just start spilling over on you.
I've not run into a horde yet.
I've had some like chase me, and I've led them into bandit camps, and I've had them wipe out entire bandit camps for me, which are side objectives.
That's good.
That's amazing.
Man, you can corral those things around by having them follow you like they do in Walking Dead.
It's
be a noise. It's fucking cool, man. Again, that game is so great.
I like how diverse it feels mechanically. Like I'm still getting kind of introduced into everything. Like, oh, here's gas tanks, which you could use to blow somebody up, or you might want to actually use it for fuel for your bike, or it just seems like
run out of gas. I've had to push. I've been like way out there, and I'm like, well, I have to fucking push this fucking bike all the way back. This is fucking bullshit.
Yep.
Yeah, and like you feel it, like you have to really plan out your trajectories and like how far out are you going to go, and like are you gonna. You have to circle back to get gas, or are you ready to go further back, further out or whatever? And it's like, there's a really big give and take there. And I like all the customization stuff. Like as you're getting more money and more things, like you're able to upgrade like your gas tank and other various things about your bike. So you get pretty attached to your bike like you do your horse in Red Dead. Like, I felt that relationship for sure.
But it's not like you lose your bike and you have to get another one, right?
If you do lose your bike,
at the very beginning of the game, you lose like your
that first camp, Copeland strips your bike down, and he's like, "That my wife gave me that gas tank." I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude. Okay,
my fucking wife,
my fucking wife. Like, dude, we get it. It meant a lot. But if you do lose your bike, you can pull it up on your map, and you can basically bring it back to a fixed point.
You can whistle for it.
You can't whistle for it. I was waiting for it to tell me that. Like, you're a good bike.
You're good. That's a good bike. Oh my God, that's fucking great.
Why won't this bike take the oats that I'm feeding it? Damn it, those oat cakes.
What do I do with these oat cakes otherwise? That game's my number 6. It really fucking. I didn't. Spoiler alert, I guess, or whatever. Confession time. Number 5 and number 6 for me: Resident Evil 2 and Days Gone. I didn't spend a whole lot of time with those games. That's the only reason they're not probably higher. They probably would be if I did.
Yeah.
But yeah, Days Gone was done dirty, man. I don't think reviews were like super harsh, but like they were.
Sixes are pretty low. I mean, people
Everybody
love
was
a
people
little low
really
for that
like
game.
people who
Meh
buy this
with it.
game really enjoy it. Like that's
Yeah.
there's not a lot of people who bought this game and are like, oh man, I was really disappointed. You know, like
Yeah.
so
Yeah, I
I don't
didn't
know.
feel-
I think it's
I
got a
didn't feel
cool open
disappointment.
world. I think I don't know. I had a lot of fun with it. I thought the gameplay loop was really good. I have very few things that are bad to say about this game, other than some of the hordes can get like really like I have to go and get like resources, like man, because you'll show up and you'll have nothing and you have to have resources to like craft things to like take on the hordes, and they start
boy.
becoming like story oriented where you have to take these like gigantic waves of these guys down, and it's a lot like you got to really put your gamer hat on.
Mhm. So you beat it by this point, Kyle? I know you had.
I'm on the very
Not
very
that
very
much.
very last mission, like
I
literally the
figured.
last mission. Yeah.
I figured that you were
Hordes
still
in my
close.
way, and I'll have to do like an hour's worth of resource managing to
Oh Jesus!
fight them. So I'm like, I'll swoop back around to this one.
Gotcha. That's cool, man. I'm glad we all like that one. 'Cause
Yeah.
that was one I was definitely rooting for.
Yeah, for sure.
Before it came out. At least for us personally, I'm rooting for it. I mean, you want them to review well too. Be like 7, 8s, 10s, whatever. But whatever. If we like it, we like it. So that was JD's number 2. My number 2. My number 2 is what we just a small tad little kick, punt, whatever you want to call it, push. It was more like a tap. We tapped it. It was Judgment. That was my number 2.
Oh, I like that game.
And I can't stop. And it's crazy that Kyle, you and I, neither of us have beaten this game yet. But it's so
It
fucking
just came
good.
out, yeah, and it's long.
Yeah, that we're just like, okay, well, I can't put this game down, and these mechanics are so fucking cool
Yeah.
that you can't help but put it in your top 5 like immediately.
This game may end up being like number 2, number 1 for me. Like
Yeah, it's the only thing that a number 1 I beat all the way through, and I thought the story was just fucking incredible. So like, also it's a sci-fi game, so I can't not insert my bias there. But Judgment, yeah, I'm so early in it that I don't know like what is the payoff here. But I just love, God damn it, I love like detective type shit. This is like LA Noire type stuff, but like, I don't know, I feel like I have more free reign, even though there's still a linear path. I still feel like there's more shit I could get done in this game if I wanted to, if that makes any sense. Because LA Noire is kind of like you're in a box, and it's wherever the story tells you to go.
Mm-hmm.
I love that
Like
game.
side missions at all. I do love the game.
It's a great
I
game.
love it so much.
LA Noire
I
is cool,
apologize
yeah.
for it. And I love the mechanics it introduced about questioning and stuff like that. And Judgment does that too, man. It takes that Wolf Among Us, LA Noire type style of questioning.
Yeah.
You better ask the right questions, man, or you're not going to get shit. I love that part of it. I love tailing people in this game. That's so fucking
that's
cool.
a big aspect of
Yeah.
as the game gets further in. I'm doing a lot of side quests and stuff right now, and you're doing a lot of like tailing husbands who are cheating on their wives and
Oh,
stuff.
that's so good.
So you do a lot of
dude. I
little
love
side
that.
cases, that aren't part of the main story, but like are part of their own little contained stories. And like Yakuza is really good at that. Is like having all these little tiny other things going on where it like rounds out like the characters that are like inside of the your bystanders, if you will, that are just in the
Yeah.
city.
Yeah, there's some people that I run into I've already established like friendships with just because
So yeah, right now I'm
Yeah.
trying to set up the day shift part-timer dude at a cafe with the night shift part-timer lady at the cafe.
Oh, nice.
And they're
Nice.
both like these little nerdy, like, and I'm like, you two kids should like get together and go on a date,
Yeah.
and like, it's stupid, dude. Like, all the Yakuza games are like this, where you get the like, but the more detective aspect makes things kind of cool because,
I love that stuff.
yeah, it's just kind of fun. Again, I like.
That's what I gravitated towards because the
You're
Yakuza
taking
games.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the Yakuza games. Like I've always enjoyed like the action element of it, and then I just nothing else ever really ended up grabbing me. Even though there's a lot that they offer and stuff. But like as soon as you go, okay, you're a detective in this one, and it changes the entire story.
Yeah, it does.
Completely.
Yeah, it really does.
And your motivation and like solving cases.
Well, I love
and
it.
stuff.
Like,
I'm
you're
I'm
having to
just
take
fucking on
pictures. You have
board.
to take pictures of people like with your phone
Yeah.
and like your camera and like trying to present it as evidence. And yeah, it's cool, man. I dig it.
And you use your drone to locate people if you can't get close.
Yeah.
I love that part too. Love the foot chase quick time events.
Me too. Yeah, I like that a lot.
I think that's pretty rad. And I love that even though this is like open world, it's like on foot open world.
Yeah, there's no
because,
cars.
You know,
Yeah.
when you're in Japan, why the fuck would you drive anywhere? It's a fucking nightmare. So
Yeah, driving in New York City, you know, like
yeah,
Manhattan.
exactly. It's like much like the Spider-Man game. Like, I mean, well, obviously you're Spider-Man first off, but like, why would you want to drive anywhere? Like,
Yeah, no kidding.
it's shitty. It's shitty. Traffic sucks dick. It's overpopulated. Just run everywhere. And that's another thing I love about the gameplay of Judgment and the Yakuza games too. Is they feel arcadey. Like it's not grounded running. You know what I mean? You're not running like a real person would. You're running super fucking fast.
Yeah.
And running into people, and it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah. You might like shove them, but like yeah.
You might shove them or trip a little bit. But it's just
and I like how it's like random battles. Like you'll be running around, like people in the crowd will all of a sudden just be like, "Hey, like what are you doing?" You know. And
that's another thing that reminds me of arcadey type combat is like you're kind of like, I mean, yes, you can combo, but you're kind of like button mashing for combos.
Yeah, yeah.
And the fighting the fighting isn't like super intricate. You know, like you're just beating the shit out of them, and the animation is kind of, you know, sometimes a little silly, like you charge up and stuff like that sometimes, and you can just wreck shop. I don't know what that's called.
So, like, you remember, R2? like Double Dragon back in the day, and like all those side-scroller beat-em-ups? Like, this is 3D that.
Yeah. That's a good.
That's all. These are just beat-em-ups. You know, like this genre has existed forever. Like in the N64 days, like they had 3D beat-em-ups too. You know, that were like this, but it's 3D beat 'em ups with like RPG elements and like open world elements and stuff like that. And like it's just a cool marriage of a lot of different game genres I grew up with and a lot of different game genres that are like cool now. That's why I like the Yakuza series, because like it's just, I don't know, it's a happy marriage of a lot of different things.
Yeah. I love the detective shit in this one, man. That's
super cool, man. That's the best part about it. Yeah, it just really makes it stand like it doesn't feel like I'm playing a Yakuza game, even though like this is the same map that you play as in all the Yakuza games, like Kamurocho, like that's the city that like you're usually in. So like it's all really familiar to me, and it's about Yakuza, and you're rubbing shoulders with people that are like that seem familiar or at least in familiar, you know, stations of power and stuff like that. But it's a detective story through and through, and you're trying to catch a serial killer, and like it just, I don't know, there's a whole different vibe to it, and I really like that.
I agree. Yeah, and I think the developer was even saying that too. Like, I know the assets are like the same and stuff, but there's so much new shit in this. Like, you can't even just go, "Oh, it's just a Yakuza. It's just a reskin Yakuza game." You just can't say that about the game. It's so different. I was gonna say there was somebody that was like, "Oh, it was just one person, and I'm sorry to call them out or whatever. Not that they're gonna listen, but they were like, "Oh, why are you listening to the English dub?" Like as if
I know, yeah, that was so funny. I was like, "What the fuck do you care?" I have no.
Yeah, who gives a shit?
Who gives a shit what I want to do?
You speak English, isn't it?
Exactly.
I mean,
sometimes I need to look at my phone because I work for a living, and that's something. And you know, sometimes that moment when I have to look down, like I can't read the thing that's going on screen. And it just being in English helps me.
And
also,
there's a whole lot of talking in this game. So
also there is absolutely. Also, like this studio hasn't done a dub in a long time, like since Yakuza 1. Genuinely curious, wanted to see what it sounded like.
Yeah.
How crazy of a game.
Honestly, it doesn't sound bad.
Sounds fine.
Bad.
Yeah.
And I think that being some weird elitist about.
That's such a purist, like that's such a purist anime like fight that people have been fighting forever. I can't believe you watched that subbed. Like, you know, they changed the script too. Fuck off. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Did the giant robots end up fighting the other giant robots at the end of it? We watched the same shit then, okay? Like,
This one, it's it feels more natural to me. I've watched quite a few things with English dubs, and some are less impressive than others, and this feels like a more impressive effort, in my opinion.
I think so too.
The main guy sounds like Daniel Wu, and he's not Daniel Wu, but he sounds like him. And sorry if that's racist, but he fucking does.
Yeah, but I'm gonna gloss over that. That's fine. No, I really like it so far, and it's been kind of nice. And unlike Yakuza, where I had to sit down and be laser focused in because it's a fucking soap opera, you have to read all that shit, and it's all subtitled. Now I can kind of like, oh, here's a cutscene. I can kind of lean back and like just kind of listen and. Oh,
that's good though.
You know, yeah, it's
they kind of repeat themselves sometimes, and that's good though that you don't have to like read that. Okay, you just said that, dude.
Yeah.
You know? But they're thorough. That's all it is. It's not that I'm upset that they're repeating stuff. They're just thorough for the gamer. You know, they don't want a gamer to be like, I fucked up on asking this one question.
Well, and you never
ground.
know like how long you're doing stuff in between sessions. So like you could be like, oh, I did one story mission and then like did 4 hours of side stuff and came back and you're like, oh, what was I doing again? They're like, remember, I'm on trial for blah blah blah. And there's a lot of expos like
there is.
Because they never know like how much time is passing.
That's true because like I'm still very early in the game. I'm like 3 hours in, but like there was one part where I walked into like this coffee shop, whatever their equivalent of a coffee shop is over there, and as soon as I sat down, my guy goes, "Anyway," I was like, "You just sat down, dude. What, did I miss something?" Like, was there supposed to be more side shit that I did?
I hear him present himself as this is Yamagashi or whatever. And I'm like, why are you saying it that way? Just say I am. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Why are you saying this is like in the third person? You know, like that's bizarre.
That's funny. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
It's got to be translation, I guess.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah, I'm loving it, man. I'm loving this. I just did a mission where I had to beat up a boss guy, and that fight was more challenging, and that introduced me to mortal wounds being an idea in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And
I had
to disguise.
If you get stabbed real good, you know.
Yeah, that's fucking cool, man. And I love going to like random noodle places and spending like money to get food and replenish my health, and like there's just so much cool mechanics in this fucking game, dude. There's so much shit in it. I just love it. I love it. I love it. So, JD, what's your cuckified number one?
Well, I have an opinion on Judgment that I would like to just get in there. I'm really happy that it's not spelled correctly, so I totally didn't just spend 10 fucking minutes looking for it on the PlayStation app. Fucking shit.
It's not spelled wrong, and I did that for a while I was trying to download it.
What the fuck?
Coming back from Sonic Blue, and I'm like, what do you mean it's not in? Like, I'm searching for it. I spell check it.
No PlayStation. Where do I play this game?
Get the E off there. And before JD does his number one, I have to do my number two.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I forgot that.
Oh, good.
So wait a minute.
I'll be quick about it because we're going.
Wait a minute.
It's going long. Why? What's going on?
You guys think that there's an E in Judgment? I'm confused.
There's not.
Is there not?
There's supposed to be.
It's spelled both ways, I'm seeing.
I mean...
Whatever, it's fine. Anyway, yeah, JD, what's your number... Oh, sorry, Kyle, what's your number... JD, what's your number two again? Kyle, what's your number two?
My number two is Devil May Cry 5. Very stylistic, very fun, very fast-paced. Everything about this game is fucking rock and roll, man. And I hope they make 100 more of these games.
That game is slick as fuck.
Dude, it's so much fun to play.
It is.
All the characters are really cool. And it's got a completely nonsense story, but it's fun though. It's fucking fun. The whole thing.
And you liked the series before too.
Me too.
Right?
I'm a huge fan. Yeah. So it just continuing, you know, where it left off from, and it was cool, man. I love the ending a lot. It's fucking cool. Ending boss battle is so fucking great. So
this is my first time playing a Devil May Cry, and I am very impressed with it so far.
Yeah, it's awesome, man.
Yeah,
it's
just looks super slick. One of the best looking games all year, honestly.
Totally.
So that's a good number two. And JD, what's your number one?
I put Division 2 at number one just because I played the most hours in it.
I get that.
Any other game. And yeah, I mean, I don't think it's objectively a better game than Days Gone, probably when it's all said and done for me. But you know, it was fun. It filled the looter shooter need that Destiny had been kind of occupying in my brain, and I didn't go back to Destiny after Division. So what does that tell you? I just kind of got out of the gaming loop after that one, you know. But it was my first cover-based shooter that I've ever played, so it was cool. It was cool playing with you guys and all your roommates. It feels cool. It just feels like one of those games where I'm never gonna fully immerse myself into it. Like I would watch a lot of the hardcore builders on YouTube, and it just kind of felt like guys that are like creating builds for like the dark zones or, you know, optimizing your shit. And I was just never going to get that deep into it.
Me neither.
It felt very stretched out. Just like, oh yeah, I've got 400 million health points. Why do I need that? Why can't you just do like 50 and then like scale it down a little bit?
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, it's not a bad thing. The silent protagonist aspect of it, you know, kind of like Destiny, it's,
It's getting sillier nowadays.
It is. It is getting a little dumber.
Are showing you. You don't have to do that anymore.
Well, and I hate it when they point it out too. It's like, this one's not very chatty, is he? It's like, you developed the game, you shithead.
Yeah.
Like, why would you?
You're criticizing yourself with that dialogue, dude.
Yeah.
But it is cool. I love the landscape. Love DC. I loved just randomly walking around and exploring stuff. That was some of the best stuff I did in the game. I didn't run into many of the game being broken issues early on because I think I got this one a couple weeks after launch. The gadget stuff.
Yeah, that was a rough first week.
But overall it was fun, and I do want to go back and maybe get into it eventually because there's a raid.
I want to try it
now.
That's why I still have it installed, because sometimes I'm just like, you know what, I just want to fucking shoot at things for no reason, real quick.
Yeah,
and that's when I plug that in.
Yeah, now that I got that hard drive, I don't have to manage my space at all. I got all my shit downloaded.
Oh, good.
Oh yeah. You fucking freakers. Yeah, I got that hard drive right there. Oh my god. Is that the hard drive my wife gave me? Oh, okay. Anyway.
Yeah, I love the Division 2 going out of their way to. I spent so much time on that game. That's probably the one I played the most from this year so far.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah, that one definitely. I love how they improved the AI of the enemies.
Oh yeah, like the melee guys rushing at you, and
not just that. The other guys, like when they notice that you're planting yourself in one place, they'll try to flank you. And
yeah,
like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
it's just. The first time you played, it's very alarming because they were just such bitch peons the first game.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I love those changes that they made. There's just like general quality of life type stuff that they made that improved it.
Yeah,
I think overall.
We're getting a movie. How weird is that?
Yeah, a Netflix one, no less, with a
Gyllenhaal
that's made good stuff with Jessica Chastain in it too, and that's strange, but
strange.
There's actually
it's all strange.
Some good material there that they could.
There's a good foundation for a story.
Yeah.
I hope it tries to tell something that's like an offshoot, where it's maybe different characters that we haven't heard about.
I'd agree with that. Yeah,
just because I think all that stuff is there, like in the lore and the recordings and all that. Like you get enough of. I don't know what the New York version is like, but because I never played Division 1, but I don't know.
I don't even remember the story in it, but the movie can go.
A weaponized virus that like the government released on the people. So
the dollar flu or whatever.
Everyone got sick.
That is fascinating.
On Black Friday.
I'd love to watch the actual breakout instead of just being in the aftermath of it.
Yeah, that would be compelling. Yeah. I'm sure it's still going to be an opening montage in the movie, though.
Sure,
unfortunately,
probably
because they're going to want us to have focus on the Division itself in the movie. Anyway, JD's, that's your number one. My number one is Observation. It's a sci-fi game, 3-hour game. It's not that long at all.
Is it spelled right? Because I'm going to search for it in Steam.
It is. It's spelled with a Z. Observation. No, it's and the most interesting part about this game for me was I'd never played a game where I play as a ship's AI before, and that's who you are. Your character is the AI of the ship. And so anytime a character goes, "Hey, can you run diagnostics on this thing for me?" You do that. You go into like a shitty interface that's straight out of the movie 2001, and you like press some buttons. This actually probably would play really well on PC.
I don't see it
I
on
imagine
Steam.
There's a lot of. Oh, really? Maybe it's in Epic Games because it's only PS4 and Windows right now.
I mean, it is for real spelled correctly though, right? I'm just making sure.
Yeah,
okay.
It is.
All right.
But yeah, the really I love the interfaces that you play around with. Like it's straight up. It feels like it should be played on PC, honestly, because there's a lot of mouse clicking and stuff.
Yeah. And
it would probably benefit from that. But I was just so fucking enthralled by the story. The story is very much paying homage to every sci-fi epic story you could imagine from 2001 to Arrival. There's like a surprise. There's a surprise element, a sci-fi element in it, other than just being in space. That you're like, oh, as you uncover more documents and interact with more characters that you stumble upon, you're like, oh shit, that's cool. That's a cool concept. And then when it ends, you're like, oh, okay, I see you, game. And the more you think about it, the more it's one of those things where like the story ends and you're like, oh, okay, it's making more sense in my brain now. And just for a game to be that challenging, and for it to have these unique mechanics of playing that AI. I thought that was just a fucking really cool thing to. Yeah, Devolver did publish this one. Goddamn Devolver!
Oh wow, just out here killing it.
Yeah, just killing it this year, man. This was made by a team of 12 people. I found that absurdly impressive as well. There's also a mechanic where your AI can jump into like an orb, and the orb that allows you to move around the ship more instead of just jump from camera to camera. It's really cool, man. It's like a trapped in space type thing where you're stuck somewhere and you're like, how did I end up here? And that's the hook. That's the opening title sequence. Is like, hey, how did we end up here? And the AI is receiving a message that's like, I brought you here or whatever. And you're like, holy shit, that's the hook. You know, it's really rad. I think you guys will really dig the vibe of it, especially if you love, you know, that brainy sci-fi shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope you can find it on PC because I feel like it would.
I found it in the Epic Game Store for $25, but my graphics card is the notch below the minimum requirements.
It does.
So I think I'm gonna have to get it on
graphically
PlayStation.
more demanding.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty beautiful.
I've got a
especially when you got to do a spacewalk. There's a part where you have to go outside the ship and do a fix. And it's fucking gorgeous. It's so cool.
It's cool. It sounds like it's hitting a lot of like, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but like some sci-fi like beats like in movies that I'd be like, oh, I've always wanted to do that in a game. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
It's you do it in Sunshine, you know, you do like the walk, you know, to fix your ship and all that.
Yeah, there's some
and then the guy from Last Samurai dies.
Funny enough, he's in this, and yeah, he totally dies. No, I'm kidding. So, Kyle, I'm very intrigued. What's your number one?
Are you? I think you know what it is.
I don't know if I do.
Yeah, you probably do. It's Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, we're about to get the DLC. It's about to fix my biggest issue. I was like, man, I remember like whenever they were showing stuff like in the trailers, and it looked like you're gonna get to play as all these like all the people. Well, now the DLC, it looks like you're gonna get to play as all those people that you didn't get. You know, so like Kyrie and Axel. Like it sounds like you're gonna get like your hands on a few different dudes. In the DLC, and I mean, they were like, this is it, we're gonna tie everything up, and like, boy, I mean, I think enough time has passed. There's definitely gonna be more of these. Like, they don't tie anything up. They end kind of one maybe like bad guy's nefarious attempt at doing something, but like the greater picture is like moving on and is bigger than ever, and it's just like, oh man. It took away from that like oomph of it feeling like a finale. Didn't feel like a finale at all. Just kind of felt like little things were kind of wrapped up, but like now bigger things are taking place. So I'm hoping a bigger game kind of comes out and kind of knocks that out this year. I would love for something to like wow me in a way that kind of takes Kingdom Hearts down, a couple pegs. But right now it's my number one. I really enjoyed it. I think it's fun. I'll talk about spectacle. Jesus Christ, that game is so colorful. The worlds are really cool. The worlds are very, very cool. I love going to all the different Disney worlds and seeing, like.
I think I just left the Hercules world or whatever.
On the first
one. Yeah, it's like the first world, and then you go to space, and then you're on another world or something.
Yeah.
After that,
space is pretty cool this time too. It's like an open like kind of area that you're like.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was a part of. For some reason, I forgot that was totally a part of the game.
Yeah, they're all like that. They're usually like on rail shooters, but this one, like you're kind of flying around on your own accord, and you can explore.
That's kind of rad.
You can explore to your heart's content, or just fly straight to the next thing without ever shooting a bullet. So that's pretty cool. I enjoyed that game quite a bit. It's just like it's. I'm waiting for that. Like we got a lot of really good games over the last couple of years. I want one of those.
yeah, same here. My
we got God of War and Red Dead in the same year. Like those should probably have come out in 2 different years, to be honest.
Yeah. This is going to be a weird year. I assume when it's all said and done, it's going to be like a weird year for my list.
Me too. Yeah,
this is already weird for me, like having like Void Bastards up there and Judgment. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
They're still good games, so it's not.
They're great games.
Fully complain, but like it's still weird. Like where's the transcending game? Whatever, it's fine. We'll get there. We'll get them all next year. I assume.
Yeah, maybe.
At least Death Stranding is this year too. So if they stick with that,
that's going to be number one for sure.
There you go, guaranteed.
Yeah, guaranteed.
You know what? Didn't even play it. Number one right now.
Yeah. You know what? I promise you guys, game's going to be great.
I know that, Kyle, right? Anyway, this is totally not Jeff by myself. I'm totally still on the phone call, on the Skype call with JD and Kyle. Clearly, that's why they're chiming in with laughter. Ha 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 ha. No, but seriously. So I am just doing a little outro here because, again, we had to edit this episode. Cut it into 3 chunks. So next week we're going to do mid-year top 5 2019 TV shows. It's arguably the best year for TV shows that we've had in a long time because there's been so many fucking great ones and still some great ones to come. So go find us at EoC Pod on Twitter. I am Jeff Whitty, WIDDY on Twitter. Also, we're on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, YouTube, Facebook. All the places you can find podcasts, Stitcher and TuneIn or whatever the hell else there is. I don't even know anymore. YouTube. I'm pretty sure I already mentioned YouTube, but whatever. I'm just going to go through it again. So go find us there and stay tuned for next week where we discuss mid-year top 5 2019 TV shows. Game of Thrones is probably not going to be talked about. I'm just going to throw it out there. So stay tuned for that. For JD and Kyle, I'm Jeff, and this has been Entertainment Champions Podcast. Thanks for tuning in, and here's our new outro music, guys. Woo! Bye!